Let's be real. When she goes silent, it's not just radio silence. It's a message. Maybe you felt it before. You send a message, see it's read, but no reply. Hours turn into days and your mind starts racing. Did I mess up? Did I come on too strong? Is she losing interest? That sinking feeling eats at you every time you check your phone. And trust me, I get it. The waiting, the uncertainty, it's brutal. But here's the hard truth. What if I told you her silence says more than her words ever could? That in her lack of response, she's revealing something powerful, not just about her, but about you. In this video, we're not going to give you the same tired dating tips like don't chase or play it cool. We're going deeper. We're going to uncover the real meaning behind her silence, not just on the surface, but from a psychological, emotional, and even philosophical angle. Ready to stop second-guessing and take control? Let's dive in. 1. Silence isn't always a door. Closing. Here's the misstep many guys make early on. They interpret silence as the end. If she isn't writing back, then it must be over, right? Not quite. In many cases, her silence has little to do with you and everything to do with her internal world. She might be overwhelmed, burnt out, needing time to reflect, or just stepping back to reset emotionally. Women often engage in nonlinear ways, sometimes deeply connected, other times introspective. Silence isn't always retreat. It can be recalibration. We live in a world that demands instant answers, constant pings, but real relationships don't move at algorithm speed. So don't panic. Her silence doesn't always mean she's gone. Sometimes it means she's just dealing with life. And your job isn't to decode her, it's to recognize what your own discomfort is teaching you. 2. The Stoic way to hold the line. When she vanishes from your inbox, most guys fall apart. They spiral into analysis, clinging to past texts, dissecting every emoji like it's a secret code. But this is where Stoicism becomes your superpower. One of its core principles: you don't control others, you control yourself. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In the silence, you can either collapse or center. This isn't about acting numb. It's about becoming deliberate, refusing to hand over your emotional balance every time someone else becomes unavailable. Instead of letting silence rattle you, use it as a tool to build inner peace. That pause, that's where your strength is forged. Not in the chasing, but in your stillness. 3. Sometimes it's a subconscious test. Here's something no one tells you. Her silence might not be disinterest. It might be instinct, a subtle emotional test. And it's not manipulative. It's human nature. Women often gauge emotional stability not through direct questions, but through subtle signals. When she pulls away, she's not always closing the door. Sometimes she's checking, can you hold your own? Can you stay grounded when the energy shifts? Can you remain composed when attention vanishes? She's not looking for a reaction. She's sensing your regulation. Not consciously, perhaps, but biologically. In evolutionary terms, strength doesn't mean aggression. It means composure under pressure. So when you lose your cool, bombard her inbox, or spiral into anxiety, you're signaling exactly what she fears: emotional instability. But if you remain calm, steady, grounded, you're communicating safety. Not just safety for her, but strength within yourself. And in the world of dating, that's the currency that matters most. Quiet confidence is louder than any grand gesture. 4. Chasing the void only deepens it. The cruel irony of emotional pursuit: the more you chase her silence, the more it eludes you. The moment you start grasping, sending multiple messages, explaining yourself, just checking in, you're no longer attracting. You're compensating. The balance shifts. You become the seeker, not the chooser. And that shift erodes the magnetic polarity. It's basic psychology. When people feel cornered, they withdraw further. So if she's already stepping back and you rush in, you don't pull her closer. You push her further. Worse, you flip the dynamic. Suddenly she holds the emotional power while you wait on crumbs. That imbalance isn't romantic, it's repelling. What feels like care to you registers as pressure to her, and pressure kills curiosity. So instead of closing the gap, respect it. Let her feel the absence, not to manipulate, but to allow her the freedom to miss, to wonder. That's where attraction reignites, not through pursuit, but through presence. 5. redirect the focus to yourself. So what's the move when she goes silent? You return to the only place with certainty, your own world. Not by waiting, not by watching her stories, but by investing that same attention inward. This is where most men fall short. They turn all their focus outward, monitoring her digital footprints, obsessing over timelines. But that energy, it's fuel for your own progress if you redirect it. Instead of asking, why isn't she texting? Ask, where have I been avoiding growth? Often her silence is a mirror showing you what still needs your attention. Your goals, your confidence, your purpose. So hit the gym, build something, journal, meditate, reconnect with the mission you had before she entered the frame. Because the man who builds momentum becomes magnetic. Not because he's trying to win her over, but because he's becoming undeniable. Progress is attractive. Obsession is not. So move, grow, expand. 6. When she comes back, you're still the frame. Eventually, she might reappear. A ping. A hey, stranger. A meme like nothing ever happened. And here's where most guys fumble. They flood in with either too much relief or too much bitterness. But if you've used her silence to recalibrate, you don't need to react. You get to choose. You don't have to ignore her, nor do you have to reward inconsistency. You respond from clarity. You respond like a man who hasn't been waiting, but living. A calm message like, hey, been diving into some new things, hope you've been well, is plenty. No drama, no neediness, just boundaries, just presence. That energy alone will tell her more than any paragraph. It says, I'm still me. I didn't lose myself in your absence. And that's rare. Most people expect their silence to cause chaos. But when it's met with calm, they notice. They feel the weight of what they left behind. Conclusion. The next time you hear nothing, don't crumble. Don't spiral. Let that silence show you something. Not about her, but about how solid you really are. Because the truth is, silence isn't rejection. It's space. And space is sacred if you choose to use it well. When you stop assigning panic to every pause, you start living from power. You stop chasing noise and start creating resonance. That's the Stoic art. Not to numb your feelings, but to refine them. To ask, am I a man who collapses when unseen, or a man who remains grounded regardless? Let her wonder. Let her reach, not because you're playing cold, but because you've grown beyond the game. You're not cold. You're composed. You're no longer performing. You're becoming. And in that becoming, everything meant for you finds its way. Not because you begged, but because you became someone it couldn't ignore. So keep walking. Keep rising. Stay stoic. And I'll see you in the next one.